Hi folks, welcome back. Well, it's that time of the year when everybody's thoughts on the VC goes to the annual vinyl tag. This year Mr. Rob Walker has set the questions, so I've got them here. Let's go through them. There's 22 obviously for 2022. And the first one he's asked is for us to show our favourite album of last year. Well, I've already done that on my review of 2021 albums. So quickly, I'll show this is Agusa. Oops, get the album the right way up. It's a good start. And this is their album from last year, En Annan Värld. They're a Swedish prog band, my favourite probably prog band of the last few years, Swedish, Scandinavian or whatever. That's my favourite album of last year. Next, an album by the first artist you saw live. Well, that would be the Irish folk band Planxty. I would have seen them in about 73, 74 at the Egremont Folk Club, which is 3 miles up the road from where I'm currently sitting. This is their album, The Well Before the Valley. They were a superb folk band. Next up, he wants us to show an album by a duo. So I've gone for this album, No Pussyfooting by Messrs. Fripp and Eno. Great electronic album with Mr. Fripp doing his Frippatronics on guitar. This is from 1973, I think. Next up, a sealed album, or one that's still in the shrink. Well, I'm going to show Mr. Young's Way Down in the Rust Bucket, one of his recent archival releases. This is a live album with Crazy Horse, and while it might not look like it's in the shrink, every album inside is still sealed. I've somehow ended up with 2 copies of this. This is a 4 album set, so I've got to find. I won't be keeping this copy. My other copy is one of the numbered albums. That's the 4th one. So there, I don't know why I bothered opening the box itself, but every album inside is still sealed. So and it's a superb live album. So that's Mr. Young and he's Way Down in the Rust Bucket. Number 5 is to show a concept album. Well, for this, I've gone with this album by Murple, the Italian prog band. Now, they had, it seems, an obsession with penguins. And even on stage, I think they even had inflatable penguins on the... so this is an album that they did, I think, back in about 72, I think. Not absolutely sure. Which is all about a penguin which leaves its home in the Antarctic and ventures out into the wider world. Why not? Great subject matter and a classic album. Next, number 6, an album you've not listened to yet. Well, I've shown this. This I got in one of the record fairs earlier in the year. This is Jan Ackerman and his third album. Now, I'm a massive fan of Jan Ackerman, the ex-Focus guitarist. But I still haven't got round to listening to this yet. I must admit, I'm a little put off by the cover and some of the tracks like Funk Me, title, which doesn't sound good. I think this is meant to be a sort of a blander sort of fusiony record. So I've got to bite the bullet soon and give it a listen. Next, a discovery from 2021. Well, again, I showed this in my best albums of 2021, and this is Harvest by the Greek prog band Cicada. This is their third album. I'd never heard of them until just recently, and this is a superb folk prog album. I'm definitely going to have to check out their first two. Next up, a live album, and for this I've shown one of the greatest live albums of all time. This is the brilliant Grateful Dead with their Europe 72 triple album. One of the greatest albums of all time from one of the best bands of all time. Number 9, an album from a different continent. So I've gone with Africa, and this is the album Amasakul by the great Malian band Tinariwen. A superb band. I love all of that sort of North African Saharan blues that's been available in the last few years. Bands like Tinariwen and Makuta. Brilliant live band as well, these were. So that's Africa for that question. Number 10, a record with a price tag still on it. Well, for that, I'm showing this album Bombers, which was a label sampler for the sort of Polydor label, and it's still got its price tag, $1.99 for a 2 LP record set, and it features some great bands: Ginger Baker's Air Force, Derek and the Dominoes, Stone the Crows, John Mayall, Taste, Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce. It's got Slade and Richie Havens. I love my label samplers from this period. So that's Bombers at the grand price of $1.99. Next up, show punk new wave album. Now I've just finished watching Richard McCook's response, and he's shown the Stranglers' first album, and I would have loved to be able to show that. It's my favourite of theirs, but it's a difficult one to get hold of these days. So I've gone with the same band, but I think this is their third album, Black and White. So that's my entry for the punk album question. Next up, show a box set. Well, I'm sticking with Italian prog again, and this is the album Il Suono del Tempo, the Song of Time, by PFM Premiata Forneria Marconi. Now this box set, all the albums were available individually, and then you could send away for the box to house them all. and these were taken from a series of concerts they did in Japan, where each concert featured an album, one of their first 5 albums played in full. So this is Un Minuto, their first album. Un Amico, their second. A Ghost, their first English language album. Actually, it was photos of ghosts originally. Un'isola, their third Italian language album. Originally L'Isola di Niente, the Isle of Nothing. And finally, The World, or as it was originally known, The World Became the World. And these are excellent live renditions of these albums. Can't remember when were they done? 2014 these concerts were held. So that's Premiata Forneria Marconi, that's the box set. Number 13, and a record with a sporting theme or a sporting cover. Now this isn't a sport I like at all, but I'm going with Miles Davis and Champions. These are, this was a Record Store Day release recently, which was Rare Miles from the complete Jack Johnson sessions. Jack Johnson being a famous boxer. And that album of his is one of my favourite Miles' albums. So that's Miles as a boxer. Next up, sticking with jazz, he's asked us to show a jazz album. And I'm going to show a British jazz album by a newish band from London, and that's Ill Considered. They're a superb jazz band. I really have been impressed by their stuff. I've got about half a dozen of their albums now, and I've got their latest one on pre-order. If you love British jazz, I'd highly recommend these guys. Next up, he asked us to show a best of album. Now, I'm not a big one for best of albums by bands, usually because I don't agree with the listings of a lot of the times. And I wasn't sure whether he meant actually just a comp by a band or an actual best of, so I've stuck with the interpretation of a best of album. And this is Uriah Heep's best of. And I just bought this fairly, I think maybe just last year or just the year before. Like I say, I don't normally buy best ofs, but I used to have this very early on in my listening career on cassette, and it is really a superb selection of stuff from the early years of Uriah Heep. So you get Gypsy, Bird of Prey, July Morning, Look at Yourself, Easy Living, The Wizard, Sweet Lorraine, Stealing, Suicidal Man, and Return to Fantasy. Sorry about the glare, but I'm not going to take all these out of their sleeves. Great band, great best of album. Next up, an album cover with more than 8 people on it. Well, I've got to show an album by one of my favourite bands of all time, and that's Magma, and the album in edits. And I think you'll find there's more than 8 people. This was an album of sort of unreleased material that I can't remember what year it was released. No, but it's early stuff that hadn't been on any album. I'd like to get a new copy of this because this is not in the best of shape. but that's Magma's in edits. Number 17, show a soundtrack. And I'm going to show Jimmy Cliff's original soundtrack recording for the film How Do They Come. Brilliant reggae on this album, with tracks like you can get it if you really want. Rivers of Babylon, Many Rivers to Cross, How Do They Come itself, 007 Shantytown by Desmond Dekker, Pressure Drop by the Maytals. Good film, excellent soundtrack. Next up, a piece of VCLT. Well, I showed this not so long back, and this is Brian Auger's Oblivion Express and the album Straight Ahead, and this was very kindly sent to me by Michael P. Dawson. Thank you, Michael, again for this lovely album. An album with no writing on the cover, or at least on the front cover, I think he meant. And I'm going to show, sorry about this, can you see that? This is Mamata's Clouds by Kikagaku Moyu. Kikagaku Moyu were a Japanese psych rock band, superb band, great live band. This is one with only 3 tracks on it. This is recorded in 2014, but there is no, I hope you can see despite the glare, there's no writing on there. Next up, a 7-inch single. Again, a recent video of mine was that 45's theme tag that I did. So I'm going to show this single again by Faust with extracts from Faust Party 3, extracts 1 and 4. So that's the 7-inch single. Next up, penultimate one, piece of coloured vinyl. So this is the very first, I think the very first album, coloured vinyl album I ever had. And this is Throbbing Gristle's great album, Heathen Earth. There's the band, and it comes on blue vinyl. I think this was the only piece of coloured vinyl that I had until fairly recent. And finally, he says, to show an album that is 40 years old this year, from 1982. That dreaded era, the 80s. I thought I might struggle, but there actually were some good albums in 1982. There was a lot of terrible albums, well, for me. But one of the greatest albums that year and any other year. This is Art Zoid's Phase 4. Art Zoid being the French rock in opposition, chamber rock band. This is for me, their best album. It's a double album. Absolutely brilliant. One that's never been re-released, I don't think. I don't think it's in any format. So that's my final one. Thank you very much, Rob, for putting those questions together. Look forward to seeing who else takes this challenge up and watching their entries. So all the very best. Again, have a great new year, and I hope to see you again soon.